It's been about a month since White Doxman, the alleged leader of Lapsus, was arrested. And since then, the group has been pretty quiet. However, of course, in that time, the dust has continued to settle around their absolutely massive hacking spree. And as it settles, we learn more about the group itself and the extent of that massive hacking spree, which now includes T-Mobile. As TechRadar points out, that is the 7th hack in 4 years that T-Mobile has acknowledged. So, big yikes. This article by Brian Krebs, it's on his blog Krebs on Security. There's a link to this article down in the description. He basically analyzed a bunch of private chat messages between Lapsus members before White Doxman's arrest. These chat logs show that Lapsus had managed to breach T-Mobile using stolen credentials that they had either purchased from hacker forums or had managed to buy from the users themselves. I posted this video recently, basically diving into the Lapsus threat group, and if you want to watch it, stay to the end of this video. But in it, we talk about how Lapsus has a tendency to rely on stolen user credentials that they either bought on online forums or that they bought directly from the user themselves. So these messages certainly are consistent with what we know to be true about this group. Krebs does point out that any time that a user would attempt to log on using their own credentials, it would lock the Lapsus members out. And whenever that happened, they would simply go out and buy another set of credentials seemingly without any problems at all, which is pretty frightening considering that T-Mobile has over 40,000 employees worldwide. So if you factor in whatever percentage of those 40,000 employees might have already had their credentials stolen and posted online that might actually still be valid, yeah, that's a large number, and that is a huge security problem. That's one reason why most security teams will generally have some kind of an alert anytime a user account that is native to their organization is found on the dark web or is found being sold in hacker forums. A popular site that you can use to check for yourself is haveibeenpwned.com. Once they had access to employee accounts, they were able to gain access to an internal client management system called Atlas. And on the note of customer accounts, T-Mobile did say in a statement to Brian Krebs that no customer accounts or government accounts had been accessed and that this entire cyber attack was shut down as soon as it was discovered. They do mention government accounts in that statement because yes, Lapsus did try some government accounts in their enumeration. White, the leader of Lapsus, attempted to find user accounts that were associated with the FBI or the US Department of Defense. Not too smart. This caused a rift between some of the members because, as they correctly realized, this would bring a lot of heat on the threat group. Heat that they already had a lot of and they didn't necessarily need more of, especially from, again, the FBI or the Department of Defense. Instead, the other members wanted to continue to focus on SIM swapping attacks and target more wealthy customers that were really just wealthy people and not necessarily associated with large groups like the US DoD or the FBI. That takes us to another thing that we know about Lapsus that we have talked about previously, and that is that they have shown cases where they do not act very cohesively and they show evidence of infighting. And this is just another one of those cases where, in this case, White, the leader of Lapsus, seems to kind of go rogue and do his own thing. While this infighting continued within Lapsus regarding, targeting the FBI, DoD, or wealthier customers, White Doxman seems to have outright closed the VPN session with Atlas, thereby getting rid of Lapsus's access to that customer management platform inside of T-Mobile. As you can imagine, that caused a lot of drama inside of Lapsus. Brian points out that it appears that White was trying to mollify those arguments by basically getting access to T-Mobile's internal Slack and Bitbucket accounts and then downloading over 30,000 source code repositories. Now let's zoom out for a little bit and recognize that hackers breaching the Atlas customer management portal is itself a big deal. It's also a big deal that hackers are able to download over 30,000 source code repos within T-Mobile. That Lapsus was able to do both fairly quickly, that's very concerning. I haven't seen any evidence yet on what Lapsus specifically was able to do with those source code that they stole, whether they were able to initiate any kind of extortion negotiation with T-Mobile or they have been able to leak it. I haven't seen any attempts to leak it on their Telegram yet. I also haven't seen specifically what that source code was for, whether that was for internal proprietary data, something relating to customer services, or what the code was for. However, not too long after all of this happened, White Dachshund was arrested. And since then, Lapsus has been silent. There's a fairly good chance that the remaining members are electing to lay low until the heat dies down and the attention is off of them. And then from there, who knows what Lapsus will look like, whether it will continue to be one cohesive group targeting large organizations like it had been, or basically they will continue to lay low and not target large organizations, or splinter off entirely. Who knows? But until we find out, there's a lot to learn about Lapsus, and more specifically about what Lapsus taught us about cybersecurity. And you can check all of that out on this video here. Check it out, and before you go, be sure to hit that like button if this video was helpful, and drop a comment saying yeehaw partner. Also hit that subscribe button. I'll be posting more videos like this in the future. I'll see you all next time. Bye.